Hi, welcome to Gentlemen and Whiskey. On this episode, we are going to be reviewing Old Bottle versus New Bottle Makers 46.
Hell yeah.
So today, like I said, we're going to be reviewing these two bottles, the old label versus the new label. We have our friend Brandon with us again, back in the studio, in our kind of new studio to film this episode. John, any info that you have about the difference between these two bottles, maybe?
Absolutely nothing.
All right. You want to drink them with us?
Yes, very much so.
Well, they're not the same shape.
These bottles are not the same shape. Does that make a difference in flavor?
I don't know. I think this one's like classically beautiful, and this one's like the dad bod,
which is also classically beautiful.
Some of you may have seen this. This is the new Maker's Mark French Oaked and said, hey, this must be a new product. It's not. This is literally the same as that. We'll talk a little bit about, though, like, you see a bunch of these videos, like Wild Turkey 101, old versus new. That's a Bourbon Junkie. They do a fantastic job. Bill from Bourbon Bill did Early Times, Bottom of the Bond, if you want to check those out. So one of the things that I really want to talk about, though, is, like, core offerings. Like, Early Times is a little different, but because it changed ownership. But these are literally the same stocks, but you'll see them as different.
Not cork.
Because
Did you just rip off the screw top?
Yeah, because I was expecting that to still be a cork.
Okay, so that's already the first difference. Since one's a cork and one's a screw top.
That just messed with me like a lot. Oh, I don't love that, but that's fine.
Okay, so in small batches of whiskey, right? When you pick up a Maker's Mark regular or a Maker's Mark 46, and you pick up another one 6 months later, good chance they are from different batches, so they're instantly going to taste differently. So right now, basically, what we're checking out is these are both Maker's 46. They're both made the same way with French Oak staves finished in, I think,
Virgin French Oak staves.
Well, it says virgin now, but it really,
on the
there is
bottle,
zero difference as far as I can tell.
Top says that.
It also says Bill's recipe. Bill is in reference to Bill Samuels Jr., who took over in 1975 as the managing president of
Who
Maker's
has a signature on the back of this bottle, but not on the back of this bottle.
Well, it also has his name on the front of this bottle, so.
I'm just pointing out differences.
Yep. Maker's Mark is owned by Beam Centauri, who
Just an awful
makes
nice of them.
Jim Beam and Knob Creek.
You're going
It is
on that
a
side.
wheated bourbon, so that means that the secondary grain in the mash bill is wheat,
Betcha.
and it is wood
Have some
finished.
of this.
So, thank you very much.
You're switching the order, so I'm going to put this here and this here.
Just to finish up on that a little bit. So when you have two different bottles of even the same thing, like you pick up two Makers 46 years apart, they will be a little different because there are literally different barrels in them over the course of that time. Like when you make a batch bourbon, unless you're making a Solera product, which we'll talk about in a different video.
Good, because I have no idea what that is.
It's going to be different. They batch it for profile, but it is always going to be a little different. So when people are taking like old bottle versus new bottle of, you know, Wild Turkey, Early Times, Maker's 46, whatever, it will be a little different, but it'll also be different in the same bottle sometimes. So when you're picking up a small batch, there's always batch differences. Old versus new is a hot topic on YouTube, but you may or may not taste the difference. You may have two bottles from the same batch, and the next batch that you pick up might be awesome. So keep trying it. If you didn't like one, maybe try a pour at a bar sometime. And whatever. All right, you guys ready to try this? So
Yes.
Yeah.
we're taking old first.
One on the left.
I have the one on the left. It's in my left hand.
Also, the one on the left. It's in
All
my
right,
right hand.
cheers to friendship.
Cheers. They almost didn't have a friendship there.
Yeah,
Just
that was super close.
Friendship almost ended. Scary. That smells like Maker's 46.
It's oak forward.
Yeah.
It's got
It's really sweet though.
yeah, it's got maple sweetness to it.
Mhm.
Get a little bubble gum.
Like Big League Chew. Oof.
I like bazooka. I always get a little bit of extra like sweetness off of the wheat towards like the end of the nose. Like when you're sniffing, it's like initially oak and then like bubblegum, whatever, and then like it just finishes sweet. That's usually how I distinguish wheaters from rye.
Just amount of ethanol, I think, from just opening this.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
there are actually a lot of really sweet, like fruity notes underneath, like fruit sugar.
I don't really get fruity.
I have been here.
It has nice legs too.
Yeah, it is.
Really nice. Actually,
How nice are they?
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10
8 out of
legs.
10.
Wow. Yeah. Those are significantly good legs.
I get like honey roasted peanuts. Fun fact:
Yes.
the generally accepted explanation for the nuttiness in Jim Beam is from the yeast strain that they use, which is also the yeast strain that Heaven Hill uses post fire. So that's why they both have kind of nutty profiles.
Interesting.
I also have a nutty profile. But that has
Is
to
it
do
your
with,
Instagram?
has to do with my brain.
Fair enough. All right. I feel like we've been talking about this enough. Let's try it.
It's
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers, boys.
Nuts and oak.
oh yes. No, I don't get as much nuts on
It's
the
not as sweet.
It's not,
Honestly.
dude. The nose is so
Baking
much sweeter than the
spices.
palate.
cinnamon,
It's a little.
nutmeg,
It's thinner than I would have expected.
with those legs
From the
especially.
legs.
Yeah.
It's a little thin. I think this is as close to a classic bourbon profile as you can get. Like when I think bourbon, what I expect out of bourbon is this.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It's
Spicy enough, sweet enough.
finish is nice, a little bit of a Kentucky hug, but like nothing crazy.
Yep.
And this is what proof? It's 94.
Yeah, 94.
So that's good for a 94. I like it.
I think that like what you're saying, John, though, this like comparing something that has the flavor profile, palate, and finish of this compared to what like a typical Scotch or a typical insert other whiskey here. This is a prime example of what you can expect from a bourbon.
Yeah, I think it's good.
I think that like it's burning my mouth a lot.
Yeah.
Sentiment comes from this type of bourbon.
Okay.
Like, because it's spicier than it should be necessarily at 94 proof. Also, I think it's a huge missed opportunity that it's not 92 proof, because then it would be 46% alcohol by volume.
And Maker's 46.
Right.
Yeah.
I see what you did there. All right, this is new bottle.
Yep.
Right.
Maker's
This is
46.
the one that
This
has
is
the screw top.
Virgin French Oak.
Let's see if they screwed the flavor of this by putting a screw top on the bottle.
I feel like virgin is just one of those things that they add to, like, as a descriptive word.
Oh, for sure.
Like extra virgin
Like,
olive oil.
I'm just
Like,
making.
bourbon has to be in virgin oak.
I'm just making a joke about it
Not
because
new
it's
oak,
different.
virgin oak.
Yeah, it's virgin, but then it's like burned to hell.
I'm not continuing this line of conversation.
What? Because it's char, right?
Right.
It's not necessarily virgin oak. Like,
Ooh, this is different.
it's not as like spicy stuff.
It's not as much.
No, the nose is less. So this one smells more like bubblegum to me.
Yeah,
than this one.
I get that.
Skittles.
There's not as much oak and nuts. Yeah,
I'm smelling the
I do get-
rainbow.
Really?
are you
Damn.
gonna taste the rainbow?
We'll find out. I'm not sure yet. We're not there yet.
So the
I get a
viscosity looks similar.
Same legs.
I think so.
So if one leg was this and one leg was this, you'd say that's on the same person.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
not two
according
different legs.
to Fred Minnick, you can tell the distilleries by the legs.
Well, good for him.
No.
He is smart, and we are
Yeah.
not.
Positive vibes only.
Oh,
All right, so
I don't want that either.
by the nose, I think I like the first one more so far.
I think it's broader. I think it's more intense. This one just seems kind of muted.
I think that's a
A
really
little bit more like
Similar,
I
I guess
leather.
similar notes, but like just less of them.
Yeah, leather and bacon spices I think come out a little bit more in the nose of this. Try it.
I don't
We
have
gotta-
any leather.
we gotta
but
taste it.
Yeah. Cheers.
That's the only way to know
Friendship.
for sure.
Yep.
There's less flavor too. Less finish. Way less.
So
finish.
less.
Less. So far less.
Mm.
Similar palate, but no finish.
So this one's a little spicier for me. Less complex.
Yep.
All the way around. The nose is less complex. The
Smoother.
palate. Come on. Ding.
Which,
somebody.
if you've been watching our
Yeah.
channel at all, means John doesn't like it as much. He means it has less flavor by saying smoother. this is not the typical bourbon flavor as much as what we were talking about so heavily with this one. This is
It's
not.
got some weirdness too. Like,
It's a little funky on the back end of the palate.
Yep.
There's something a little weird in there.
Do you think that's because it's fresh cracked?
I mean,
But
they
they're
both are.
But they're both fresh cracked.
I know, but there's been an argument in whiskey for a long time about cork versus screw cap
Well,
and how it like preserves even just like that fresh crack and everything like that.
I would agree with you.
Right.
If they weren't both wax sealed.
Yeah, but
The wax seal will keep any air from getting in or out.
you think so?
I do.
You think they did it properly? This wax seal goes a little farther down the bottle.
Oh no.
No.
Well, that's even better though,
You
because
think
then
so?
it's more bottled to keep the air from getting in.
I believe you. I think I do.
I think it's the virgin French Oak States.
That's it versus the
virgin.
non-virgin.
Versus the experienced French Oak States.
Oh no.
boy.
I think I said this in one of our first videos that Maker's 46 was one of my like intros into better bourbon.
Yep, you did.
Early on. This is the Maker's 46 that I was talking about.
Mhm.
I think right now, as it's sitting between both of those, if this was the Maker's 46 I was talking about,
Mhm.
I wouldn't necessarily qualify it into the better bourbon category.
Yeah.
We kind of danced around the issue. Brandon, what do you think?
I'm picking the original Maker's 46.
Samesies, bro.
And I'm on that train also. But like I mentioned earlier, they're small batches. So in 6 months, you could pick up a Maker's 46 that blows
Yeah.
both of these away.
Yeah.
So just
Yeah.
because the new bottle is worse doesn't necessarily mean it will be in the future.
It could also be that this is just an absolute stellar bottle of the old.
It could be. It could be
batch.
the absolute best batch of 46 ever.
In which case, we'll be auctioning it up. No, I'm just kidding.
These don't.
That's open, so it's not worth it.
The cask strengths tell you what batch it is.
Yes.
These don't.
Correct.
So
Yep. Most small batch bourbons, they don't do the traceability that like single barrels and
Yeah.
cask strengths.
Do you think that's because they blended it all?
Yes, they blend all of it. All right, so if you see this is the new Maker's 46
This one.
bottle. As far as we can tell, it's a little bit different. Nothing has changed. It might open up in a little bit, but fresh crack to fresh crack, it is all but the same. Check out our other videos, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
I don't know what that.
That's our intro
That's our
song.
intro.
Oh, that's the intro song.